Nice library, Emerson.
Thank you.
Oh, is that not real?
No,
No.
nothing's real, remember?
Mhm.
It's all fake here.
Come on, Joey. You should know this by now. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Non-Duality Live. We have a very special guest, Andreas. Thank you so much, Andreas.
I was curious, who is it? But yeah,
I don't know too. If you have any questions, you can type a question on the chat. You can also raise your hand. If you have any questions on YouTube, I can read the YouTube questions for you. This is going to be streaming on YouTube. And Andreas.
Good evening. Yeah, I would actually.
Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. There we go. Andreas, if you can unmute yourself. There you go.
all right, cool. Thanks very much. I hope you can hear me. Yes, yeah, perfect. All right. All right. Welcome to the Zoom talk. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I learned that it's Thanksgiving today, which, of course, doesn't mean anything because there is no real Thanksgiving. Actually, there's nothing that's real because what happens, what apparently happens, so to speak, is no thing. It's not something that happens. So sitting in front of a screen and seeing and listening and all of that is no thing. It's not something that happens. And what's being said here is, on the one hand, that what happens, what apparently happens, is naturally whole and complete, in a sense that there is nothing, no deeper reality or no hidden reality or no divine reality around it, within it, or underneath it. And what's being said, on the other hand, is that there is no separation. There aren't separate objects, there aren't separate things. And this includes this illusion of I am, which experiences itself to be separate. It's not there. It doesn't exist. That's the other thing that's being said here. There is no I, so to speak. And I can't teach anything, or I can't teach anyone, because when I say there is no one, nothing in here, and there is nothing in there. There's just no I. I think that's about it. There's no message. This is not a teaching. And I seem to have problems with my connection. All right. I don't know what you still heard, but it's not about anything anyway, so. That's really bad. I shouldn't say this so often, I think. So anyone who wants to has a different opinion or wants to talk to me, so you're welcome to do so. I think you can raise So I'm getting a bit insecure. Am I frozen all the time, or is that just?
You're okay now. You're okay now. There's Garrett asked a question. Hi, Andreas. Apparently 27 people drowned in the English Channel yesterday. Did anyone suffer?
Well, in the end, there's no one who knows that, but this message would say that there was no one there, of course. Yeah, but in the end, no one can answer this question because this question already refers to a reality that can't be confirmed or experienced. So there's no answer.
There's a question here from YouTube from BP4722. Is there any kind of explanation how duality started at the first place?
No, not at all, because non-duality never started in the first place. So that's the funny thing. When I say even non-duality, no, duality is an illusion or the I is an illusion, then I actually mean that it never started, not even as an illusion, so to speak. There just is no such thing as duality, so to speak. I mean, this means that there also is no such thing as non-duality. Both are concepts in that sense. But I am, which is the sense of duality, never started. It doesn't happen. No one has been born. Nothing has been created. Nothing became manifest. So there is no duality. That's why there is no answer to it. I mean, I assume there are thousands of books somehow giving a story, an explanation, an apparent explanation about this. But those would all be stories. They are invented. No one knows. But not because someone can't know. No, no one knows because duality never happened. It doesn't exist. So sitting in front of a screen and being you and being me and breathing and feeling never became something. It's not a separate, a divided reality. I mean, for the person, it's not only a dual world, it's actually, I don't know the English word, a plural world with many things. It's not only two things. The world is divided into numerous parts, so to speak. And that's an illusion. This manifestation never happened. That's basically why there is no answer at all, or no explanation at all, because there is no reality in the first place that is in a certain way that can be explained or known in a certain way. It's just not there. That's the funny thing. It's just not there already.
This one is for Messenger. Andreas, can you please explain what do you mean by when you say so to speak?
Well, so to speak is a more common way to say apparently. So to speak means it's a story. It's not a truth, so to speak. You will notice whenever I say so to speak, there is no apparently following in the sentence afterwards. when I'm fit and the thing is that nothing can be stated at all. Those aren't statements which claim to state the truth. That's why it's all, so to speak, apparently.
Dario, go ahead, please.
So when no statement can state the truth, what does that leave us with?
Again, what does that?
What does that leave us with?
Well, apparently in the story, one could say it just leaves you with yourself, but in the end, it leaves you with empty hands. So, but it's already the person's experience, because there are no statements, so to speak. It's the same thing with the truth. It's just illusory that something is being said, that there is a truth that can be stated. And in that sense, it doesn't matter if we talk about some spiritual insights, or if we say, I'm hungry, or I've been at the supermarket in the afternoon. Those are all stories and never statements. So the person, in that sense, the illusory I always stands there with empty hands. It's always left, which is its experience. Its experience is separation from everything else, which is I'm left with my own existence. So it just leaves you with yourself, with your apparent self.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, William, I think.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
So the energetic sense of there being someone is always accompanied by the sense that something's missing and I need to find something to fill that sense of lack.
That's what seems to be happening. Presence seems to be unfulfilling. Yes.
And
yeah.
The sense of something missing is totally artificial. There's never anything ever wrong. You wouldn't say there's never ever never actually a problem that needs to be dealt with.
Yes, exactly. It's even, I mean, one can't really talk about it in the right way, but of course, to say the sense of self is artificial still somehow implies that there is a real sense of self. But yes, it doesn't matter. It's wholeness.
But what I was going to ask was, like, you know, when in the story, if that contraction of feeling separate happens at around 18 months, 2 years old, in the young child growing up, say maybe 3 or 4 or whatever, there's not a strong impression of a problem that needs to be solved at that age, is there?
Well, it depends. I mean, the story would be that somehow the sense of I am just sneaks in. And 4, 5, 6-year-olds, they can definitely have apparently serious problems. They don't look serious for us adults, you know, suffering from not getting an ice cream. But for the kid, when there is someone, it's deadly serious.
Yeah.
It's suffering. I know we as adults, we often laugh about it, but
no, it's true. Actually, I've just realised that I wasn't thinking that, but I've just realised, yeah, even when you're a child and you want a certain toy or like an ice cream, and the parent says no, you can't have another one or whatever, it does feel like, yeah.
Yeah, and you start manipulating and trying to do all things with your life. That's basically that's basically seeking.
Yeah.
And the I, so to speak, saying I want to be enlightened is the same as the kid saying, but I want my ice cream. I want to be enlightened.
Yeah, but it's true as an adult. If the kid's saying, I want the ice cream, you think, oh, that's not a big deal. But my enlightenment really matters, or me not having enough money, or whatever it is. You think those are real serious problems, or like the world being the way it is, or whatever?
Well, no, of course not. No, there aren't real problems in that sense. It's not an attempt to talk oneself out of anything. I'm not attempting to create this holy, happy something. On the other hand, yes, it's illusion. Problems in that sense are illusory. Totally.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll get to you, Anita, but I have a bunch of questions here from YouTube. Squiddles asks, would it be correct to assume that frequency of thoughts massively decreases when the sense of me falls away? So all the thoughts related to future, past, unnecessary problem solving, etc., stops?
Well, in the end, no one knows really, because there is no experience anymore of thoughts. But yes, I would say so. Thinking around those ideas about the future, will I be enlightened, what's going to happen, this just stops basically. Yes. Yeah.
And this one is from Dennis. Dennis asks, is the existence or awareness that I'm experiencing real or merely an illusion? Is there anything real about it?
Sorry, I didn't get the first sentence about.
For sure. Is the existence or awareness that I am experiencing real or merely an illusion?
No, that is the illusion. That's the funny thing. I know myself. I know that I am. I'm pure awareness. I experience myself to be something. That is the dream. And one could say that is the only dream. I know myself does not exist. I am aware of myself does not exist.
And to add to that question, is there anything real about it?
No, there is nothing real about anything, and also not about awareness or this experience to be existing. But as I said, you can't even say this sense of existence isn't real. It actually means it's not there. It doesn't happen. No.
Anita, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Emerson. Yes, it's about that sense of existence that feels so real. And can you say something more about non-existence?
Well, the thing is, you can't really say something about non-existence because there is no one who can do that. But it's totally illogical and can't be explained, because it's exactly how you said. When there is this sense of I am, or no, one has said differently, the sense of I am consists of this sense of existence. The idea that nothing exists or I am doesn't exist remains an idea for the person, because the person's experience is existence. It's yes.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about that.
Of course, and that's the inexplainable thing. You can't do anything about that because it doesn't even exist. But that's the thing which doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
The person would say, I can't do anything about my existence because it's so solid, it's so real, it's so strong. That's all those sentences. My I is so strong, the illusion is so strong. No, it's not strong at all. It's just wholeness as that illusion. And sorry, you really can't fight wholeness. That's too much. But yes, it's impossible to fight it, not because it's so strong, because it's not even something. It's wholeness appearing as that.
Yeah, it's everything.
So to speak, everything is whole and complete.
Yes.
And what seems to be happening is everything. So what seems to be happening is whole and complete. And if
Like,
that's the illusion to be someone, that's whole and complete as well, but for no one. Like everything is whole and complete for no one.
yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Question here. If liberation, this is from Rob, if liberation were to happen to, say, a Buddhist monk, do you think they would continue to live as a monk or do something else?
No one knows. That's hard to say. Maybe if you have a very, very lazy person, they might just stay a monk. And maybe while the others are praying, you would play on your mobile phone secretly or something. But no, there's no answer. It's unpredictable. What happens when there is no one? It's unpredictable.
Here's a few more from Facebook. From YouTube. Andreas, would you say that being anxious comes from the contracted energy, or is that just what's happening from Brendan?
Well, in the end, you can't really separate it, because even if it would be coming from the separate energy, it would still be what apparently happens. So either way, it is what apparently happens.
This is from YouTube. So how can we talk about duality or non-duality if it does not even exist?
Well, that's the thing. We don't talk about it. The talking about it is what apparently happens. But there isn't an experience here sitting in front of a screen saying, oh, come on, let's talk about non-duality. It's such an interesting issue. No, that's not here. For a miraculous no reason, sitting in front of a screen happens and these answers come. But there's actually no story here or no knowledge about we talk about non-duality. There is no such thing. So we can't really. It's not happening. But I understand for the person, it sounds as if we talk about a subject, me, the end of me, liberation, this interesting subject called non-duality that we can talk about, but that's a complete dream. There's just words happening apparently without any content. Without any content. There's nothing in them. Yeah. So talking about never happens. It's part of the person's dream that there is a reality that can be talked about or known.
There's another question here. Someone says, William is awesome.
Was this a question?
The question is, Alex goes, I was meditating to pointers from Nisargadatta recently, and I felt peaceful, but fear manifest sensations in the head. Do you want to comment on that?
Maybe you can read it again.
Yeah. Alex asked, I was meditating to pointers from Nisargadatta recently, and I felt peaceful, but fear manifested and sensations in the head. Basically, fear and manifested?
Fear, yes. Yeah, what would be the question about it? Because actually, all of what you just described is or was what apparently happened. So, which is wholeness. But what would be the question about it?
Yeah, it's a person from YouTube. If you want to clarify that, Brendan, or Alex, sorry. There's another question here from Johnny Drury. There's a real human urge here to know about the ordinary life in the background of Andreas and other XYC non-duality speaker. Can you say something about that? Did you want me to repeat that, Andreas?
Sorry?
I'll repeat that. There's from Johnny from YouTube. There's a real human urge here to know about the ordinary life in the background of Andreas and other XYZ non-duality speakers. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, well, that's quite a general question. I live in Germany, and I'm doing these talks, and apparently I have a partner and a son, and I'm cooking at home. Sometimes I'm ironing those. I do this sometimes, and it's quite ordinary, I would say. Yeah. I hope that somehow answered that question. Or you would need to ask more specific.
Hi, Andreas. You were saying before to someone else that we don't actually talk about anything like me and no me. But it seems to me like there would be a shift from awareness to not awareness. Because clearly what you're saying is when there's no longer this, well, I'm hearing it, that when there's no longer the sense of being someone, that whole sense of awareness or knowing or being in a relationship with things is not there anymore.
Yes.
But to me, it feels like I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware of what I'm doing and all of that stuff.
Well, only, of course, that's the personal experience, so to speak. And when that illusion, that apparent illusion is running, that's the experience. I'm here, I'm me, and all I have is, so to speak, to experience things, which is to be aware of things from a separate standpoint. Of course, that's the only thing the person knows, to be me and to only experience life. Yeah. Yeah.
And so when there's no longer that sense happening of being aware of or experiencing, then there's no longer an idea that there ever was any real awareness or any real separation taking place.
Exactly, that's the thing with this. When the person drops or when awareness drops, it's not even really dropping. But you can't say it differently. It's the really unexpected and funny turning out that it never happened, that there never was anyone aware of anything that's real. It doesn't even drop in the end. It's not there. But I can't explain that. It's not logical.
Nothing you say can make sense to the person, really. I mean,
yes, that's true.
You're sharing a report of what's been apparently revealed when the sense of awareness wasn't there. So to the sense of awareness, it's not going to make... Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It's just useless for the person. Like everything is useless for the person. Yeah. The person,
So really,
the apparent person, whatever happens, so to speak, the apparent person just remains being an apparent person until it dies, so to speak, or until it turns out that it's non-existent. Yeah.
okay, thanks.
Thank you.
There's a couple of questions here from YouTube. This one is from Harvey. Hi, Harvey. Harvey Jackson. What is the difference between real and unreal? Are they just words?
Well, yes, one could say so. Yes, they're just words. And apparently they try to describe something which can't be described. So, yeah. And real and unreal, in the end, there is no difference, because what happens is real and unreal simultaneously. It's not two aspects that somehow change. It's not that sometimes it's real and then it's unreal again. No, it's just simultaneously unreal and unreal. No thing. But it's, can't be experienced. It's the apparent attempt to describe sitting in front of a screen without anyone knowing that there is sitting in front of a screen.
Here's a question here from Garrett. Garrett, did you want to ask this question or do you want me to read it? I'll read it. When the sense of self apparently falls away, does all depression fall away with it, leaving just a celebration?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the leaving just a celebration part. But yes, I would say it's hard to remain depressed. Yeah, I mean, there can be all kinds of feelings, and it's not that there are necessarily only good feelings. But for me, it's hard to imagine there to be a continuous state of depression, so to speak. Well, I don't know in the end.
Dario, do you want to ask that question yourself? Am I just lazy, or is my apparent me falling away?
Well, who knows? Bon appetit.
And then Dennis wants to ask, I don't know if you want to ask this question yourself, Dennis. I'll ask it. Talk about yourself and whatever transformation took place to bring you to your current perspective that everything is an illusion or a dream. Was it totally random?
Well, yes, in the end, one could say random. At least I don't know what, I can't find a reason, so to speak, why I died or why this I died here. It had nothing to do with what I did, so to speak. It had nothing to do with what I thought where I'm at and
You just cut off there, Andreas.
yeah, I'm really sorry for that. I try something.
No worries.
Yes. Yes, I can't find anything. I can't find anything which I did, which was the right thing, so to speak. The right thing. Yes, it had nothing to do with me. It was just an early death, so to speak. For no reason at all. I just didn't make it. Yeah. Well, I just didn't make it. While I was trying to become a happy me, for no reason, unexpectedly. It was also not what I was searching for, really.
Question here from YouTube. Since there's no one, what's the difference between that or a zombie?
Well, the thing with a zombie is that a zombie is half dead. So a zombie isn't completely dead. So when there's a zombie, the zombie is half dead, and there is this longing for blood and this, I need blood, I need blood. And when liberation happens, there's nothing left anymore.
Question here from Travis. Travis, did you want to ask this question? I'll just read it. Okay. There seemed to be a point in time when it was recognized that this individual identified with a me wasn't actually real, and in the body or anywhere for that matter. It's now recognized that this whole experience didn't even happen. Did it kind of seem to happen that way with you, Andreas?
Yes, absolutely. One could say so. Of course, when you tell the story, it all seems to be in time, and it all seems to happen and to have happened in time, of course. But it's inexplainable. But yes, when the separate energy melts away or turns out to have been non-existent all the time, of course, this whole experience drops, or the illusion of that experience, that there was a real happening, that there was a before and an after. and that this is something that happens at all. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the interesting thing. It's not really that there is a me and that drops and you have this clear before and after. When this separate energy melts away, it's actually exactly as you say. It didn't happen. It wasn't there all the time. All the time there was no separation. Though there was seeking and running after gurus or trying to have a career or whatever you or the eyes was seeking in, it turns out that it was never personal and there never was anyone in there. Yeah.
And this one is from YouTube, from Sam. Andreas, has the past happened at all?
No, of course not. But it starts with there being no present that happens. The moment you have a present, the moment you have a moment, so to speak, this opens the possibility for there having been a past. But there is no experience right now, and there was no then, and there will be no future. Yeah.
This one is from Squiddles. Although this can't be thought, could it be said that an impersonal noticing can arise, such as noticing in quotes, what a thought isn't me or my creation, noticing such as this can loosen the illusion?
Now, noticing, well, of course, apparently there can be noticing, but it just wouldn't have anything to do with liberation or stuff like that. But apparently there can be noticing, like, yes, but it wouldn't be real and it wouldn't be meaningful. It wouldn't have any meaning. It would just be what apparently happens. And of course, this whole noticing thing that the person lives in, I noticed that. And 5 minutes later, maybe it's like that, or that's useless. It can't be used. So liberation, or what we talk about here in that sense, has nothing to do with noticing or becoming aware of things, aspects, and turn them into a path, so to speak. That doesn't happen. That's a dream.
And this one is from Alex. This is a follow-up to his question earlier. What I meant was, why does fear manifest as sensations in the head when I find peace meditating to Nisargadatta?
well, in the end, I don't know. But to me, it just sounds. I have no idea. Yeah, but to me, it sounds like just two sides of the coin. I mean, both are personal experiences. So the moment you have a pleasant experience, I don't know, maybe afterwards some fear comes up, or I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, meditating to Nisargadatta and having a pleasant experience has nothing to do with liberation in that sense.
This one is from Facebook as well. This is from Iyashan. I've been listening to this message for more than 10 years now. Why is that I am still seeking? Is it that I am listening with my mind? All I have been experiencing are glimpses.
Yes, but it's just what apparently happens. It's not your fault at all. That's the thing. You assuming yourself to be someone in that sense is perfect wholeness. And there is no need. Wholeness doesn't have a need to change this, so to speak. So you didn't do anything. You are not there, but you also didn't do it wrong. There is no right approach to this message, as there is no right approach to life. And the other thing is that this message or these talks aren't a method. The person, of course, thinks that it's on a path and that what it does somehow supports its path. So it thinks that listening to this message is a path. It's a method and a path. That's, if it goes well, it's linear somehow. But it's absolutely not a method. And what apparently comes out of these talks is totally unpredictable. This message doesn't do anything, so to speak. It doesn't even want anything. It doesn't even intend this illusion to drop, because this illusion is as much wholeness as everything else. There's absolutely no need for a change. And besides that, there isn't anything that would be better anyway. It's part of the dream again, that there is another way of being, or a way of not being, which is better. No.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. This one is from Rob. Andreas, my parents blame my aimlessness and general lack of drive in life on this message. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, my parents already got used to it, because we had this discussion 20 years ago already. So I'm just beyond that. But maybe don't expect them to understand.
And this one is from YouTube. The presentation of Andreas, the speaker, is apparently a very narrow aspect. Can we see the other aspects and the apparent richness of the illusion as well?
Again, please.
I'll repeat. The presentation of Andreas, the speaker, is apparently a very narrow aspect. Can we see the other aspects and the apparent richness of the illusion as well?
Well, actually, sitting in front of a screen being nothing and everything is not only an aspect, so to speak. But I guess you assume that I seem to pretty much focusing on the nothing part, and nothing is real part and stuff like that. But what's also being said, of course, is that what apparently happens is everything, and is total and is whole and complete. There are just a lot of no's to this personal experience, because it just doesn't exist. But sitting in front of a screen is perfect wholeness. That is the everything. There is no huge everything out there, and there is no huge illusory existence somewhere. No, there's what apparently happens, which is unknowable anyway. But yeah, it's total. I don't know if you meant that with the other aspect.
Dario asks, Andreas, do you miss the days of being a spiritual seeker? Do you consider going back?
Sometimes in the morning I think a little bit of seeking today might be, no, I'm sorry, no. There is no seeker. There never was a seeker. And there's just, it's impossible, you know. But the thing is, not because I look back on this very bad time when I was caught up in the illusion or something. No, because it turned out that it was already perfect wholeness. My life, so to speak, and also my so-called seeker's life was perfect wholeness. And there was no one there already. So it's not that I don't want to go back because there was this horrible life going on. It's just a completely artificial question. How can you go back to something that doesn't exist? So.
There's a comment here from Robert. Hi, Andreas. The sense of me dropped away some time ago. Enjoy your meetings very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Robert Fabro, yeah. And this one is from TM. It seems incredible that my meditation and other practices has no influence on falling or not falling away. Did you want to comment on that?
Well, yes, that's how it is. For the person in the end, it's unimaginable that its practices are useless, that it's being alive which means to be seeking, to be conscious, to do something, to find an answer, to make one's life work, that regarding its aim to find personal fulfillment is utterly, utterly useless and just part of the dream of its own existence. It's unimaginable, actually, because again, the person's experience is to seek. It's not an intellectual thing. There's just this seeking energy. That's what the person itself is. But the idea that it's really, really, really for nothing and futile is very weird for the person. Yeah. And on the one hand, in daily life, so to speak, the person thinks, but I have to be aware, I have to do it, I have to earn the money, I have to keep it all together. And in spirituality, I have to meditate, I'm responsible for my enlightenment, I'm responsible for my joy and my luck. Yes. It doesn't only refer to those spiritual ideas. It's this whole attempt of the person, this whole assumption that I have to consciously do life with all aspects. I have to consciously do the surviving. I have to consciously do my joy. I have to consciously do everything, basically, or at least as much as possible. Some people even think they have to breathe consciously. But that's higher spirituality then, I guess. Yeah. But also in making a career, in relationship, it's all about being there in the right way, being present, creating the right kind of relationship towards work, towards other people, towards spirituality. And it's futile, it's for nothing. It's really for nothing.
Question here from YouTube, from the rover. Hi, when you say nothing is happening, is it in the same sense that there is an experience of a dream, but it's not really happening and only appearing to happen?
Yeah, I mean, when I say nothing is happening, it's actually impossible to be understood, really. Actually, one has to say the other way around. The only thing that experiences happening is an illusion, and that is the sense of self-awareness. That is the only thing that experiences happening. I'm happening, there is something happening, and it turns it into this general sense of there is something happening. All of that only comes from this subtle sense of presence in here, saying, I'm happening, there is something happening, but it's just generalized by the person and just said, there is something happening. That's the whole existence. But what's being said here is that it's this sense that doesn't have any substance at all. But how that is can't be said anymore, because there is nothing existing, being aware of, nothing happens. There's just nothing happening for no one. Or, sorry, one could also say, sitting in front of a screen is inexperienced, and there is nothing there which could confirm its reality. And the person would only say, sitting in front of a screen is real, I'm aware of it. Of course there is sitting in front of a screen, I see it. Of course there is sitting in front of a screen, I'm conscious about it. Of course I am, I'm conscious about myself. But this is the only illusion, and this is the only thing that drops.
Question here from Martin. Even though there isn't anyone in the end, isn't it better to live a life in separation, where you live in an illusion that you have a life, when you have the alternative would be not to exist at all?
Well, I think that the problem is that it's no one's choice anyway, and it's right. Yeah, I don't advertise for one thing saying it's better than the other thing. Yes, there just isn't anyone. This presence isn't real, and Yeah, it's neither better or worse. It just is what it apparently is, which means it's always connected to this sense of lack. But as long as you can hope to find enlightenment, as long as you can hope to somehow become fulfilled in this life, yeah, why not? Then it might even be apparent fun.
And this one is from Major Cultural Divide. How can an illusion experience happening?
Yes, amazing, isn't it? That's exactly which cannot be answered because it doesn't happen. That's the thing. Apparently the person goes through life claiming, I feel it, I really feel it. And it's exactly this, I feel it, I really feel it, which is without any substance. So exactly, it's impossible that there is something experiencing itself. It doesn't happen. It's a complete dream and an illusion, which means it doesn't happen. But for the person, so to speak, this is the contradiction. The person is, in that sense, a living contradiction, because how is it possible? How is it possible that I experience myself and there is this guy, whoever that is, saying that there is no one? How is that possible? And you're right, it's not possible.
Hi again, Andreas.
Hi.
So seeking is obviously very, very exhausting because it uses a lot of energy.
Well, it's apparently exhausting because as long as it's there, it's just what seems to be happening.
Okay. I at least experience it as exhausting because I find there's just so much mental energy, especially going into what do I need to do? How do I need to solve it? What should I have done? And the constant working out of everything. That kind of exhaustion drops, would you say?
Well, the illusion of exhaustion, yeah.
But so, I guess I'm still looking for an ideal state because I'm thinking, oh, so you're never exhausted by anything. But I suppose what I would consider day-to-day life for you could still be tiring.
Well, yes, I do get tired. Yes, apparently. Yeah. I mean, there's just not, well, what actually, to be honest, doesn't really happen is this inner exhaustion that the person, the person constantly lives, somehow moves between, I have to go through this and now I can relax. I have to go through this and then I'm tired. And in a way, this impression doesn't happen. And apparently the body just does what it does. And this includes getting tired and being exhausted, physically exhausted and stuff.
But I suppose none of it's going into a context of my life.
Yeah,
in much as, all of that I've had to deal with has caused this, and then how am I having enough energy?
No, because I'm not dealing with stuff. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Question here from Christine. So what remains when the me disappears?
Well, there is nothing there which could even understand this question. Nothing remains. Everything remains, This
Question
remains.
here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Question here from YouTube from Gas. Is this nothing a way of pointing to something that's unknowable to the mind or person? Does it literally mean nothing, or is there some kind of divine intelligence we could never explain?
Well, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, it's rather really nothing than a divine energy. Yeah. Intelligence, that was the thing. Intelligence. No, it's not needed. It's miraculous. It doesn't need intelligence. It's not going somewhere. It's not leading somewhere. Intelligence is too limited, even if it's divine. It's not needed.
question here from Chris. Is there nothing divine?
No, no, no. I mean, one could say what apparently happens sitting in front of a screen is absolutely whole and complete. But there is nothing divine about it in a sense of holiness or what the person regards as divine. And of course, what mostly happens is that people assume there to be a divine force or divine intelligence or a God somehow hidden behind what happens. So the person would say, okay, I'm aware of sitting in front of a screen and all that happens. That's kind of, well, okay, but I actually need something deeper or an explanation or the assumption that there must be something behind it which fulfills this. And this is often hoped to be holy and important and special. That's where the idea of divinity or God comes from. The assumption that there is something behind what happens, something greater, something which has the ability to make it whole and complete, which makes sitting in front of a screen for no reason bearable. But that's just a projection in the end. It's the person projecting itself onto everything, hoping that out there is something like me, always there, reliable, a better me.
Hi, Andreas. It's Jason.
Hi.
Hi. You've answered my questions, 1,000 times over. And but I just so relate to what you're saying today, especially when you describe the predicament of the self and seeking and the futility and all of that. I'm totally in that. And I feel like not that the self is going, but I'm just turning into this like generic self. Like, oh, I'm seeking in this direction and that makes me, right? That makes me this individual or something, whereas someone else seeks in a different direction. But still, it's like this generic just seeking. And so it's kind of, I don't know, it's interesting, just this sense of being like a generic self in a body, so to speak. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to share and say hi. Thanks.
Hi, thanks. Nice to see you. Cool.
Geraldine goes, miraculous or divine intelligent. Isn't that playing on words?
Well, I know what you mean, and actually I shouldn't say this miraculous thing. The thing is that there isn't a miracle behind it, sitting in front of a screen, and this completely is it. It's timeless, it's no thing, it's whole and complete, but it doesn't have anything to do with divinity or an intelligence. But you're right, whatever the word intelligence means for you. For me, intelligence sounds a bit like a process, and as if it does make sense on a higher level or stuff like that. And as if there is an intelligence behind sitting in front of a screen, somehow orchestrating it or doing it. But of course, in the end, whatever you think or whatever you think intelligence means, of course.
Well, thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you so much, everyone. People requested if there was a breakout room, I guess we'll do one. This weekend, it's an Andreas 2-day event. If you guys want to join that, you can go to nonduality.live. You can unmute yourself and say bye. Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you very much. I won't be able to come to the breakout room because my son is going to bed now. So thank you very much for joining. I wish you a lovely time, a lovely day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.